post-game show, Shaw's and Star Market, making shopping, ordering online, and saving easier than ever. Download the Shaw's Deals and Delivery app or the Star Market Deals and Delivery app today. Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray, Patriots with a win over the Vikings in preseason game number 2. 20-12, the final score today. We'll hear from the head coach coming up. We'll hear from you at 617-779-0985. You know, Joe, actually for preseason game number 2, I think a lot to get into today. What was your major takeaway from this one?
Couple of things. Obviously, Will Campbell looked really good after having a really bad practice. So really all we have takeaways during the week are the joint practices. They really struggled on the offensive line, but he looked great. And on the Trevion Henderson touchdown, he really got to the second level, which really extended that one. So that's there. Efton Chisum really looks like a player. And what I mean by it looks like he's going to develop, but he's shaky, like he's shifty. He has shake and bake. That was really good to see, and I think he has leaped maybe a couple of people on the depth chart. But overall, the defense did not give up a touchdown either after getting shredded in practice. So, big 3 takeaways.
You know, overall, Joe, I think this caps off a pretty good week for the Patriots. And I think the way it works now in the NFL is you almost have to put more stock into what you see in the joint practices or what is reported to you in the joint practices compared to the preseason game. But instead of putting, all of our stock in these preseason games, I kind of try to look at it and say, how do we put the week together? I'm curious to hear what the head coach has to say about that. Mike Vrabel's press conference is brought to you by Oakers Technology. He's stepping to the podium now.
We'll let you ask the first question, and then Karen will get the second one via text, since you guys were the only couple.
So we saw Jared Wilson and at left guard do a second for you in the
Probably was going to have some snaps that we'll need to improve on. So that's the plan, is just trying to get him all the work that he may need and continue to compete.
Is there a point in the preseason in which you would like to have
Well, I think just when it's clear, when it's clear. There's not a timeline, but I think that when it becomes clear, and it didn't before, and I don't think it has yet now. So we'll still keep working. And trying to get the best group in there, and then get guys that are versatile and can help us behind them, because very rarely are you going to play the same 5 throughout a 17-game season, and hopefully whatever comes after that is just trying to get a good solid group of offensive linemen, establish the first unit, but then also have some really good pieces behind them. What's Karen got?
Dan Roach on behalf of Karen Caribbean. How gratifying is it in terms of the culture you're trying to build, is seeing Efton Chisum, an undrafted free agent, getting second and third efforts to make plays and get into the end zone?
Doesn't matter how you get here. The only thing that matters is what you do when you're here, and I think that's another great example of that. And Chiz, when given opportunities, has taken advantage of them. And we talked about his play strength last week, and I would say that continued to be true this week.
How much does that come into your 3
follow-up via text? No.
The 3 principles of making what you do in training camp, earning a role.
I think that's exactly what we talked about. Like, this has to be a work day. This has to be an identity day, but this also has to be an earn a role day, and making sure that we showed up with that mentality.
Defensive veterans making plays in the second half, and Kyle and Anthony. We haven't talked a lot about Anthony, but what have you seen from him?
I've seen a competitiveness, and Anthony's been around, and again, we've had really good conversations, and you try to draft some guys, and there's some young guys in here, and it's a fine balance. And to his credit, he's done nothing but compete in practice, earn reps, earn opportunities in the game, and take advantage of everyone that he's gotten, and a factor today and even last week. Well, we have to, we only have so many guys. There's guys that didn't travel, there's guys that didn't play, and we have to have 11 out there every play. And so this is the third week of our first training camp as a coaching staff and as a team. Like, that's what I want everybody to realize. It's the third week of our first year, and we have to just, we have to get this right. And everybody, will just be prepared to play, and for however long that you're in there or whenever you're asked, and help on special teams. Somebody's got to protect the punter. Somebody's got to go on the field goal unit. Somebody has to be on the kickoff return, right? That our obligation is we have to protect the guys that have the ball, and then, we have to be able to play and get stops just like we did. And that builds confidence and trust throughout everybody on the team. I feel like you guys now are just going to tag team the hell out of me.
One of your opponents didn't play their starters in the game. But going off what you just said, does that sort of describe your preseason philosophy in terms of building?
Well, it described our philosophy today is that we just want to go out and work through a pregame warm-up and work through openers and making adjustments and things to coach on. If you don't do anything today, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now you work again on Monday. Like today had to be a work day, and for some it wasn't that much, and for others it was more. And what other teams do can't affect us. We'll try to play the situation and score when we're in the red zone. And I think it's a great reminder of we talked about Chisum and Jordan Polk, like saving a touchdown and defending every blade of grass, and we force them to kick a field goal. And that's the difference sometimes in these games is an extra effort play that allows the defense to defend every inch and blade of grass, and offense to fight for every inch.
Mike, how pleased are you with your defense? We're keeping us out of the end zone.
Well, yeah, we were 2 for 2 last week in the red zone, and so that improved today. Not letting them run it in was critical, and then also, getting those stopped there at the end and being able to play it situationally, and we'll be able to coach on the offensive, the 5-minute drive, and have a better plan. But I think we were close today, and certainly we had some 2-minute situations, and offensively we had a bunch of first and second down work.
What did you see on Trevion's touchdown?
That he runs hard and protects the ball, and guys were finishing and gave him a little bit of crease, and you don't need much. I know he finds it, and it was a big good run early in the game.
What's the general message to the roster, the guys in the locker room, when you finally preseason cuts?
Well, I'll save that for the guys in the locker room. Before I tell them, certainly don't feel like I could tell you, but it's really going to stay consistent. That we have to work and we have to continue to improve. We don't have a ton of time left, and there's things that we have to continue to get better at, and preparing to win. We have to really start preparing to win. Yeah, and I think that he settled down, and it was good to see, a lot of positives after that, and that's why I decided to go back out with that unit, and so I felt like there was a rhythm and a flow and an execution. I'll be able to give you a little bit more tomorrow when I'm able to talk to the medical staff and then try to update you guys tomorrow with everything that I can as it relates to some of the injuries.
Did you get your carrot cake? That's one.
I did. I got plenty of cake. There's no shortage of cake.
And how good was this week for you guys with the 2 giant practices, the preseason game today?
Appreciate the Vikings and what they were able to do, their organization, and the ease and comfort in which we were able to work here. The facilities, just the energy at practice. It's a good football team. It's a talented roster. They do a lot defensively, and so we thank them and appreciated what they were able to do for us, and we'll go back home and get back to work. Thanks, guys.
All right, Mike Vrabel's press.
All right, packed house today.
How good is it to get back out there?
Yeah, it's always good to get out there with the guys. Go through a real game like in the huddle, out of the huddle. Shoot, got delay of the game, so that stuff's good to be mad at myself for, and reminder to watch the clock, get out of the huddle, get the guys back in the huddle. So it's always good to get real game reps where they can hit me and kind of real situations.
Why the delay game? Something happened there that
Yeah, I just got to get out of the huddle faster. I think it's with me. I think it starts with me getting those guys back in the huddle. It's different in practice. Just kind of getting back to the huddle when they start the play clock. Right after the last play's down. So just a good reminder. I feel like I was watching it. For some reason, it was a second down, a weird play that my eyes weren't on it, I think. But I think it falls on me. It's good to have to bounce back from that because there may be a false start or holding, get back on track kind of type of deal. So it was good to feel that. But obviously, disappointed myself for letting that happen out here.
What do you see in your teammate after Chisum? When you see him breaking tackles, one play broke 4 tackles all the same.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you see in this kid?
Yeah, he just keeps on showing up. I think that's the theme for him. Was throughout camp, throughout joint practices, throughout preseason games. He got in the end zone again tonight, and just keeps on showing up. Like I said, he's blocking the run game. He's knows what to do. He's staying late with veterans and asking me, hey, what do you think on this route? He's just he wants it, and I think that's the biggest thing he's showing. It's paying off for him.
Well, what do you feel about continue with the 11-hour run on that drive and then the touchdown?
Yeah, I think he's dynamic. I mean, shoot, it's cool knowing him. He's out there on kickoff for us, kickoff return. So I think from there, just try to find ways to get him open in space, and I think he's better than teams give him credit for running between the tackles, as you saw today. So just trying to find ways to give him the football, and I think on the third down, maybe could have gave it to him earlier or gave him a better ball.
Talked a lot about working with your line, joint practices. How about opportunity today where you kind of got flushed a little bit, man cut inside on you, and you went around and made the pass to Mac Hollins. How much of that is your game? How important is that?
Yeah, that's just game. That's just game situation. It's hard to emulate that in practice because the defensive ends always think they got a sack, So it's good to get out here and know they actually have to bring me down, and it's good for us to work scramble drill because sometimes that we call something and we're expecting this coverage and they go to something else. So it's good for those guys to feel that and the receivers to work on scramble drill and stuff like that. It's hard to mimic that in practice. So it's great to get it out here in preseason game.
Regarding that play, that play back, his ability not only his play, but his ability to get open situations like that. Even in the joint practice,
Yeah.
you were able to find him. What is his knack? What is it?
Yeah, I think kind of one of those things where he's in the right spot. He knows coverage. He's a veteran in this league. He's been in a lot of different systems. He's played in this system before. Kind of knows the ins and outs and knows what to expect. And I think he wants it. He wants the ball. He loves going up and getting it. I threw him the high first one and he made a play on it. So I was a little amped early in the game. So it was good to have a big 6'3" receiver out there. I feel like DBs are scared to hit across the middle. On our team, it's nice having that.
Do you feel that energy?
You're up. There you go.
How did you describe the communication with the Josh McDaniels on the headset that he's actually being active?
Yeah, it's great. I think having before the 15 seconds goes out, for even just constant reminders or a little reminder here or there, it goes a long way for us because we're dealing with a lot of stuff out there, and even a reminder in the huddle to a receiver, hey, get your depth, or hey, to an offensive line, hey, you'll be ready for this, or something like that goes a long way. And he's great at kind of giving little tidbits, and from there, it's just kind of working our communication of what I like hearing and what he likes kind of giving me before the snap.
You mentioned you felt a little bit hands-on before the start of the game. It's a preseason game. People at home might hear that too. Why was so excited? Was it hard for you to kind of dial it down, even in a situation?
Yeah, I don't think y'all want to dial it down. We're out there, they're keeping score. We're trying to win. I miss, Pop High, same thing. He's wide open sitting in zone out there. So, it's a couple plays we should have back, but I thought the guys up front, blocked well, and I think dialing it back. Like I said, it's preseason, but these guys are still trying to, come, tackle us and stop us. So we're trying to go down and score. Yeah, Sam. Yeah, it's one of my best friends. So it's pretty cool us, starting against each other in a preseason game, and really our first time, really playing against each other.
How good of a week was this for you and the team, the two joint practices?
Yeah.
Being out here as a group, but also today's.
Yeah, it's awesome. Obviously the Vikings, what they put in, last year, and the regular season they had, and kind of the talent they have back. It's great for us to go up them in 2 days of practice and come out here and finish off a preseason game. So it's a nice facility out here, and I thought it was good work, good for us to see different stuff, see different defenses, see different talent. Coach Flores does some good stuff on defense, so it's good for us to see the stuff he does and kind of learn from it and carry it into the regular season. Sweet. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Drake May is. Were favorable for Drake May, so it felt like a good week.
Yeah, he had a really good week. And, you look at the 2 weeks, Washington and Minnesota, for the most part, everyone has said that Drake May is picking up the offense, and even the other teams are impressed with how much he's taken on, making calls at the line, cadences, etc. One thing of that out of the huddle play, though, he's got to be better at that and faster at that. That's something I attribute to him still doing everything, right? But this is why you need preseason games for that. He does need to be faster with that. The delay game wasn't great. The other thing is, do you hear him speaking? He sounds clearer, better, more confident this year. I hope that leads to the field. But overall, though, I think he does believe in everybody on the team, where last year, I don't know what was going on.
You put a lot of that on Mike Vrabel. I mean, I think that's one of the stories of camp, right, Joe, is that Vrabel is working so closely and so heavily with May.
I think Vrabel's hands are all over it, but maybe it is Josh McDaniels in his ear a little bit more, as maybe Van Pelt wasn't a year ago.
So we heard May talk a little bit about that, McDaniels being in his ear. That's because he mentioned on the TV broadcast that McDaniels is far more vocal in his headset than Alex Van Pelt was a year ago. Where do you stand on the McDaniels thing? Where do you stand on this offense and Drake May picking up this offense? I know you've had some strong thoughts on that this week.
I think last year they probably were going to let him improvise. This year, I think that they want to control the high-risk plays. And that's another takeaway today is, they're good at running the football. Like, maybe that should be their game plan early on. And eventually, when he gets more comfortable with the cadences and getting it out of the huddle, maybe they open it up a bit. But they did have some downfield throws, downfield sideline throws. So overall, I was impressed. But this is what he has to do. Like last week, he had the turnover. This week, the delay a game. So we're seeing improvement.
The bounce back. That's what I take away from this game is the bounce back. He had a good Wednesday and Thursday. There were issues with the offense, particularly on Thursday with the offensive line. We heard about that. But according to reports, May was good in spite of the line. The first drive was not good from him today. The overthrow to Pop Douglas that should have been intercepted, it was not. Then he does not get out of the huddle. He acknowledged after the game he should have been faster. He should have gotten out of the huddle. The delay a game is the unacceptable thing out of today. You're going to overthrow a receiver. I can accept a physical mistake. The mental mistake after the physical mistake, that's what I put on him today. But the second drive, Joe, they sent him back out there, and Vrabel acknowledged in his press conference he wanted to send them back out there because he wanted them to, and he didn't quite say this, but my takeaway from it was they wanted to end on a good note with May and the offense. That second drive was much better. Much more in command, much more in control. That was some good stuff from them on the second drive.
I'll just mention last year, whenever he made mistakes, he always bounced back the next drive with something big. In joint practices this week, he struggled a little bit, but at the end of the day, he threw a Hail Mary at the end of the game to kind of end practice. So that's Vrabel, right? Vrabel trying to end things on a good note with momentum into the next week.
You think this is a good week for the Patriots?
Yeah, because if you look at it, both weeks were. This week in particular, though, Will Campbell had his struggles, right? Looked really good today. So everything that we're hearing in reports, at least today, we saw some of the good things when it came to May, Campbell, Henderson. And again, I'm going to say this one more time. The defense today, 0 touchdowns. And who would have thought that Jennings would have 3 sacks?
So that is against second and third stringers, though. That we do have to put this all in context, right, Joe? And that's one of the challenges of these preseason games is the Patriots sent their starters out, the majority of them. The Vikings didn't play any of their starters. So it was second stringers. So with Will Campbell's day, you say Will Campbell had a good day. That did not go up against Grenard, who took his lunch at times this week. So how do you evaluate that? How do we look at that and say this is worthwhile, this is not worthwhile? How do you do it?
It's hearing the joint practices and what's reported versus what we can actually see, right? And this is what I mean about the preseason. All we can talk about on this postgame show is what we saw today and some of the reports from this week. overall, though, on that touchdown play from Henderson, that was all Will Campbell. And it was Henderson a little bit, too, once he hit that. So did they... The whole thing with Vrabel, right? What some of his key things is effort and finish. Mm-hmm. They did those things
Campbell
today.
finished that play, man.
They did it. So, and a lot of guys, effort and finish. I don't know if Kyle Duggar at the end of the game is a effort and finish guy, but the ref said, hey, why don't we all just go home?
Want to get into the Duggar thing now?
Let's do it.
That's a problem. Joe, when you're out there in the fourth quarter of a preseason game as a $14 million a year player, and you are there until the final whistle of the game. Not to mention, you have a boneheaded play on the final whistle of the game. Kyle Duggar, it's been nice knowing you, man. Wow, that was a tough watch. You almost have to feel bad for the guy, right?
Yeah, it's weird because at times I think Vrabel's testing him.
That's a hell of a test, Joe.
What the test is, he's out there in the fourth quarter. How's he react? The other test is Woodson's just a better free safety option. Like Jalen Hawkins is a special teamer, but is probably a better free safety option. That's probably where they're going right now. I think at some point, and this week you hear they want to try him at linebacker. If they're trying to try you at linebacker and you can't cover, but he can cover tight ends. No. It's not good right now for Kyle Duggar, and I'll tell you, he didn't really do anything he did nothing today to be like, that guy should stay on the roster, especially the bonehead play, as you mentioned.
Do you think they'll keep him?
I think it comes down to cutdown day. What's up with Peppers, who didn't play today? Mm-hmm. Last week we saw a lot of Peppers in the slot, right? That was something Devin McCourty talked about and did during his time there. If that's the case, they need a true free safety. They don't have one. I still think there's a need for that body, though. I still think there's a need for it. His problem is coverage. As far as coming up in the run and everything like that, he can do it. But I would wait until cutdown day on that one. But the money, right? And here's the other thing. We got to start looking at guys who signed extensions under the Gerard Mayo era, right? I know
most of them are gone.
And Nwenu, still got to watch out for him. I think I guess he's secured a job, but Kyle Duggar is one of them. There's no doubt about it.
So are you willing to pay him $14 million to be a backup safety? No, I am. It's not like cap space is a problem for this team. It's not like they don't save a lot of money by getting rid of him. If they cut him, that doesn't really affect their cap. There's a lot of dead cap money there. The only question is he going to be a malcontent? And what I saw from that final play, I generally think of Duggar as a heady player, right? I think he's a smart player. I don't think he's, a dumb player by any sense. That's not a play I've seen him make before. So you wonder where his head is at. You pick the ball off, you fall down in the end zone, the game's over. He tries to run it out. I mean, that's not him, Joe. That's not who he is. And that, to me, tells me a little bit about where his head is at with this whole thing. Not that I'm necessarily going to blame the guy. If I were a $14 million player and I'm playing in preseason game number 2 until the final whistle, my head's probably going to be messed up too. But is he going to be able to accept a role? He's lost his job. He's lost the role. We know that. The only question is, do you stick with him? Do you keep him around as a backup? And will he accept that role? And do you want to mess with that?
I think he has to. He wants to get paid, right? So you got to accept the role. I'll tell you this much. I think that one of the things that Mike Vrabel really is going to look at is, is Del Pettis a better, as a third safety, or is it keeping Kyle Duggar with the rookie and Hawkins? So I just think that when it comes to effort and finish, I just don't know if Kyle Duggar is one of the guys that fits that category.
It also goes along with what Vrabel's done since he's been here. He has purged the vast majority of the leadership group, the vast majority of the veterans who were here under Belichick and Mayo. And I think Duggar's another example of that. I'd be surprised if he's on the team at this point. I think the real debate coming into today, Joe, was whether they were going to keep him as a backup. After today, I'm pretty convinced he's gone.
The other thing is just they said they want to move him to linebacker. I don't know. There are guys ahead of Jennings. And look what Jennings did today. So I just look at it and say there's really no role for him, and I'd rather develop the young rookie that they drafted.
Is that a good thing? Are you on board with what Vrabel's doing with a few of the veteran guys?
Yeah, you know why? Because I do think that there's some dead weight still on the team. I think everyone deserves a shot, no doubt about it. But they want to teach guys their way, right? Isn't it like it's no different than a new job, Matt? Right? You get a new job, the new man comes in. Oh, this is how we used to do it. Well, I'm the new manager. This is the way we do things. So I think there's a lot of guys on there. I'd circle a few of them. There's a few guys on that roster today who we might think is on the main roster. I don't know. I just look back at all the guys that got extensions. There's a target on all those guys.
All right, we'll break all that down. We'll look at who was playing, who wasn't playing, what that means for the roster moving forward. We'll look at some of the standouts. Efton Chisum, no doubt, was a standout today. We'll get into all of that. The Patriots with a 20-12 victory over the Minnesota Vikings today. We have phone lines open for you here on Patriots Postgame. The Shaw's and Star Market Patriots Postgame Show at 617-779-0985. It's Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray. This is the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub, Patriots Radio Network.
In recent years, advances
First downs today, and with every first down, Credit Union Kids at Heart funds promising studies into new treatments for pediatric brain diseases. Learn more at cukidsatheart.org. Efton Chisum. Perhaps the story of this one, Patriots win today in the second preseason game. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray. Joe, he's made the team. I think today proved he has made the team. Your takeaways?
Effort and finish. I'm gonna probably bore you with that over and over, but that's probably one of the catchphrases or trademarks for Mike Vrabel's team this year. So I just wanted to give you some stats on it. We saw it with our eyes, right? He's had 14 targets in 2 games, 12 receptions, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It's pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. Again, it's against the second and thirds. How do we take away from this? I am a little worried about his size. Like, that's something. But he had a high volume of catches coming out of college. I mentioned the shake and bake. He does know how to shake away from getting hits, or at least he showed it in the last couple of games. So, can that be consistent? Is he only a slot? Can he play on the outside? Would that open things up maybe for Pop Douglas to play multiple spots outside and inside? I think their slot is Pop Douglas, but could there in a pinch if Stephon Diggs hypothetically wasn't ready week 1, could they play a Hollins, Douglas, Chisum? Because right now it's probably the lineup when Williams, I think, left, but I don't know if he came back or not.
He did not, no.
So he had a good day. I thought he had a pretty good day.
No, I mean, he was getting open again. I mean, I think, that's one of the takeaways from the game as well, Joe, is Kyle Williams leaves. Josh Dobbs throws a hospital ball. He gets hit high. That changes maybe, you don't know, right? But does that change the wide receiver numbers if somebody's going to IR? We don't want to, speculate there at all, but that is one of the stories coming out of this game today. I think, one of the things you said is, Chisum is doing this against the twos. Yes, he is. But again, how do we put this all into context? Who's been the best wide receiver among the number 2s? The answer's pretty simple. It's Efton Chisum. He's been their best guy this preseason in that unit, in that group. Who's better right now, Efton Chisum or Javon Baker?
So it's good that you mentioned that. There are some things I liked about Baker's day. Overall, though, if you want to look at the statistics, because again, we watched, right? Baker had 7 targets and had 1 catch. Now, it was a high throw. Mm-hmm. There was the penalty.
He had a drop, too, down by the goal line, which then Chisum, I think, very next play is the one where he breaks the tackles, ends up in the end zone. Say, that's it. I mean, to me, that's it. Chisum beat out Baker today. That's a story.
The story also between Baker and Chisum is Baker has tools. Like, he still needs to develop where Chisum looks like a guy that's already developed for the Josh McDaniels offense. Right? We heard the stories. He's already been watching film on Amendola and Westwell and guys like that. So that the shaking off a defender and showing that extra strength, he's small. He's small. Can he take a hit at the NFL level? I still think there's other guys who are locks for the team ahead of him. But as far as, Giles, who they gave a really good look to today, Baker, they gave a really good look to today, no doubt about it. It was Efton Chisum who earned a roster spot.
The only thing Baker has going for him is the special team stuff over Chisum. He's a gunner. So how much emphasis do they place on that? In the Bill Belichick era, maybe a little bit more. And I'm not saying that Vrabel disregards special teams. He certainly doesn't. I actually think, Sneaky Joe coming out of this game and really coming out of this summer is the strength of the Patriots special teams unit, at least in the kick return and the punt return game. They had good moments in this game again today. How much of that does that save Javon Baker's job against Efton Chisum? I'm sorry, I think Chisum's just proven too much on the offensive side of the ball. Give me Chisum over Baker.
The other thing, too, is I think that if it came down to cut down day, you might be able to release Baker and have him come back to the practice squad, where I think Chisum would get claimed. Right? Somebody's going to just think that kid can help us right away.
Yep.
So, yeah, what else will Chisum do on the roster, though? Like, would he be a kick returner? Probably not.
Punt returner?
Maybe.
He did return a punt today. It did not look like Marcus Jones. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah, so like that, maybe that's what they're starting to think now. Like, and Vrabel said it in this post-game press conference. He needs a guy to be in protection. He needs a guy that can do this. Well, Chisum, he can play slot. Can he do anything else? Because, I don't know, can he run down kicks? I don't know. He's small, man. I'm going to keep saying
I know.
He's small. Pop Douglas is small. Like, there has to be concerns about that when it comes to both of those players.
And Pop Douglas has an injury history, too. So in some ways, I think that almost helps Chisum's case. I hear what you're saying, Joe. I mean, I get it. It makes sense. I'm not saying he's a perfect player. I'm just saying I think he's shown enough to make the roster. I think he has proven to me that he has more upside in this offense, and I think that matters. The McDaniels offense, that matters a lot here. He has more upside in this offense than I think Javon Baker has.
One other thing that Baker did that I didn't like, he really there was a lot of things I could take away that I would defend Baker, but he's not there yet. And that's the problem, is you got another week or so to go, and then you got to make a decision on the guy.
Are you a Baker guy? Because I don't see it with him.
I wasn't.
I don't see it with him. He kind of sounded like a Baker guy.
No, I just know, like, again, Keyshawn Boutte was this great standout out of high school, was part of that chase, and those type of guys kind of fell off. But look at him. Like, he's made the team. Bootie's on the team.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
He's no doubt taking strides. I did not see this coming with Keyshawn Boutte.
So
good for him.
Baker, though, like, if he really fought on the goal line, but he was supposed to continue to drag. He stopped for a second.
Are you talking about the when Dobbs missed him in the end zone?
Yes.
How much of that do you put on Baker? How much of that do you put on Dobbs?
All Baker.
Yeah, I think too. I think a lot of people put that on Dobbs. Baker kind of stopped. He hesitated, and then he got open because he was freed. The corner freed him. I put a little bit more on that, a little bit more on Baker than I think a lot of people do out there.
Dobbs made the right throw. It was a bullet. Don't get me wrong, but you can't stop in a route, right? It's like when you teach kids to run routes. He was fighting. He fought through two guys. He went through one, but that stop was the difference in making a play or not.
Killed the timing.
So, like, Chisum knows how to find that spot. It's just slower for him. It's just easier. Although smaller, it's kind of like Baker's has the ability. He doesn't have the consistent mental makeup.
The aptitude.
Good word.
What do you make of the wide receiver room right now?
The Stephon Diggs thing's interesting to me. I don't know if he's going to be ready week 1. He doesn't know. Vrabel just cares that he's out there every day.
Hold on. I keep hearing about how ahead of the game he was, and it felt like he was really ahead of the game at the beginning of training camp. What's going on with that? You're now saying you don't think he's going to be ready?
I'm just going off reporting that, maybe he's not working as hard as he did. We saw a lot of video where he looked like he was ready to go, right? Mm-hmm. Well, reports are saying that maybe that he is slowing down a little bit.
You think he's taking his foot off the gas?
But maybe they're like Todd Downing spoke about it this week, the wide receiver coach. Certain guys have spoken about how hard he's been going. Maybe they're just saying, "Hey, man, you've proven maybe you are ready, but like let's slow it down." So I don't know if it's him or the team. I don't know where it stands. But Elliot Wolf did have a quote today. I would say he's probably done more than I would have expected at this point. He's been a tremendous worker. He's been out there practicing every day, and he's done everything we've asked of him. That him and Jim Whalen have a plan. So maybe the Patriots do have a plan for Diggs.
All right, we'll continue with the discussion on Stephon Diggs, the wide receiver room. I thought Mac Hollins was one of the standouts in this game.
He's big.
There's a real connection between Mac Hollins and Drake May. We'll talk about that. We'll get into Travion Henderson, who I think continues to show out, and we'll get into the downs today as well. Greg Baddard's going to join the program at 5:35, so we'll hear from the big boy on that. We'll hear from you at 617-779-0985. We'll continue on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show, but first, Joe Murray's going to get us caught up on headlines after we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub, Patriots Radio Network.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston.
drive of the game brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. Travion Henderson capping off a scoring drive for Drake May and the starters. It was the first score of the game. The Patriots win 20-12. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray. Joe, should I please tell me to pump the brakes on Travion Henderson, because I'm getting very excited. Way too excited. I know it's preseason game number 2. This guy looks like a stud.
I'd start buying some of his trading cards, maybe. Maybe a jersey. I don't know. Here's what I like about him. The number one thing, he's a great pass protector. And Ramondre Stevenson is too, for that matter. He has acceleration I've never seen before. The kick return in particular, he got to the 30-yard line and turned on the boost. When he made it through the hole on that touchdown run, the acceleration. He's big. Oh, he's tough. All that. Acceleration really is the thing that stands out to me. It's home run hitter potential. If I was this is my opinion, I would still make Ramondre Stevenson the lead bell cow. But when you put Henderson into the game, he's a game changer. And I'd even keep Gibson for that matter. I think they can mash.
I think they've got a good stable of running backs. I think it's their best position group right now on the offensive side of the ball. I say that, and I'm down on Stevenson.
No, let's talk about this. We could go through all the position groups, right? Quarterback we'll get to in a minute. Yep. The line is working itself out.
Yeah, you got some problems there.
The tight ends really are, there's 4 guys battling for one spot. No, you're right. As far as the offensive goes in general, their running back room, they could keep 3 veterans. Maybe they'll keep a 4th, somebody like a Jennings or somebody like that. But and this is why I didn't want Mike Vrabel as the head coach, by the way. That running first mentality, does it work in the league today? The thing with Henderson is he's a different dynamic of a runner where, he can catch the screen passes. He can do a lot of things. But yeah, I would say as far as the offense go, their running back room is the best. Is that going to get them to the playoffs?
Okay, but I think you can win that way in the NFL now. And, we saw it. The Eagles won that way. The Eagles got to the Super Bowl, and they did not win that Super Bowl because helps, but the line, of course, helps.
Having A.J. Brown helps.
The Patriots don't have that line. Nowhere even close. I understand that.
I know the Eagles and I get it. I know.
But I'm saying, if philosophically, you're saying you don't know if you can win that way in the NFL. I think you can, because I think the league has gone so far in the other direction. I don't mind trying to win by running the football as a team with a young quarterback, as a team with a bad offensive line too, and it is a bad offensive line. Do I want my offensive lineman going forwards or back, Joe? What's better for Will Campbell, to go forwards or back?
He's very good at going forward.
Really good at going forward. Doesn't it help the line if you're looking to be a bit of a run first as you possibly can be in this day and age in the NFL? If that's their philosophy, I'm on board with it. I can get on board with that.
So there were some things that Josh McDaniels did too. He had the fullback in there, right? They had the third tight end running. They were chipping. They had the running backs also hitting the defensive end on the way by. That's a new scheme that they did not have last year. I'll fully admit that. Again, my concerns are maybe there's too much workload for Drake May to the point where if they can lean on the running game, it's going to open up some play. They did a play action. They did a draw at one point that really worked.
They opened up the game with 2 play actions on the first drive, which they did not do last week.
But
not that you want to. And let's be honest. Let's not sit here and break down play calls in preseason game number 2.
But this is all we have. We can't watch the things. No, you brought something up off the air I think you should share is when they were on the goal line, Drake May called an audible, right?
That was the best thing I saw from Drake May in this game. 3rd and 10, goes to the helmet, checks to a run. He recognizes there are 2 safeties back on that play, knows there's space for Henderson to run. This is on the scoring drive. It was after they had already hit Hollins on the 3rd and 3 down the sideline. It was the biggest or second biggest play of the touchdown drive for Drake May. He saw the defense. He recognized the defense. He audibled to a run, 11 yards first down. That made up for what I saw on the first drive where May lost the play clock after nearly throwing a pick, had a bad moment. It was a bounce back moment for him. That was good stuff. That was heady stuff from Drake May. I don't question the talent. The physical ability is there. It jumps off the charts. That's the type of stuff I need to see from him. That was his best moment today.
And this is what I mean about, I think we're going to see ebbs and flows of some struggles and good things. That was a good thing, no doubt about it. Just on the touchdown run quickly, it was a little boggled up. The defense kind of caved in a little bit, but it was the line that continued to finish.
Was it the line or was it Will Campbell?
Will Campbell went to the second level and finished.
That was his best
Effort
play of the day.
And finish, right?
Yep.
But Henderson stayed with it, followed the lane, got tripped up a little bit, then exploded.
So when I watched it in real time, Joe, I thought Henderson made something out of nothing. And he kind of did, because there's chaos in the backfield. But you made the point, and it's true. You said, no, watch the play again. Look at Will Campbell getting to the second level. The interior of the line, based on what I watched live, did not give Henderson much to work with, and he made something out of nothing. But once he followed Campbell, he was gone. It was a good moment for Will Campbell.
Yeah, and
again, how much stock can we put into that? Because that's against second stringers.
But it's the Drake May play call at the line, right? Mm-hmm. The Drake May play call, it was the right thing to do. It worked. I almost didn't like it because it was a Josh McDaniels 3rd and 4 on the goal line. Can they do it? But here they are in the preseason trying game situations. Their lineman came through. Their running back came through. That, like, I'm going to say it one more time, that was effort and finish.
What's your overall concern level with the offensive line? Because it feels like they had a bad week in joint practices.
So it's still, to me, they don't really know who their left guard is, and do they want to go with a rookie left guard? I think Bradbury's a problem. I think they're going to go with him because he's a veteran, maybe they have to lean on him for some guidance. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe they want that guy in there. Ben Brown was decent. See, I thought I didn't watch it in pass protection.
Yep.
But again, when we keep talking about running the football, I think he was decent. And again, he knows how to hit one guy, go off to the second level. You know, do we even see Wilson today? I don't feel like I didn't see much of him.
Wilson came in with the twos, played left guard with the twos, then switched over to center.
Okay.
Which I think is now one of the more intriguing storylines of camp going on, is that Jarrett Wilson felt like one of the stars of the first few days of camp. Feels like he's fallen back a little bit. Ben Brown is now taken over. Wilson has an injury thing going on, but it's not enough that he didn't play today. Phil Perry reported before the game that they're kind of trying to back away from Wilson a little bit. They're taking a few things off his plate because they feel like it's getting a little bit too fast for him. But, Joe, you're right. Who is the starting left guard on this team right now? I'll tell you, I do not want it to be Ben Brown.
I will say this, but City done. Cole Strange was out there late. It's not a good thing, right?
Joe, oftentimes it's not about how you play in preseason football. It's about when you play and who you play with. That's a bad sign there for Cole Strange.
Yeah, they don't have a left guard. They might not have a center. And we have barely seen their right tackle, who's 34 years old.
What's your concern level with Moses?
I'm not. But you know why? It's weird, but I think his just vocal leadership has been really good for them.
I think they need it.
But at some point, though, like, is somebody going to... Like, the kid Thomas Bryant from last week started, right? Played well. Didn't really get a crack today. He struggled a little bit. But I do think he's a backup right tackle they'll keep around.
At left guard, should they consider Mike Owenu? I mean, you're paying him all this money. I know he's predominantly played on the right side, but he's a veteran guy. Wouldn't that help Will Campbell if Owenu's next to him?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. At some point, you got to see if Owenu really is worth the price. And I mentioned the Mayo Wolf guys. I'll throw Wolf in there. He's one of them. But so far, though, I think you need him at right guard. He needs some stability.
All right, we'll continue on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. We have room for you, 617-779-0985. We'll talk a little bit more about the offensive line. Do the Patriots have a backup quarterback problem as well? I want to get Joe Murray's thoughts on that. Big day for Efton Chisum. Anything you want. We continue on the Safety Insurance, 98.5 The Sports Hub, Patriots Radio Network.
What is insurance?
Insurance transfers certain risks, but
And we have seen a number of throws in this game sail a bit from the quarterbacks, and Williams made an earlier nice catch over the middle to reach up behind him for the juggling grab, and he takes a shot right there and again receives the medical attention down on the field.
That's disappointing because Kyle Williams has been getting open in practice. He's been getting open these games. He's starting to contribute and actually put some production on the field here today. Takes a high football from Josh Dobbs. That's a bad throw in the short area. You're leaving your receiver out to dry there. He takes a helmet-to-helmet shot. And now he's going to have to miss time. I mean, he is slow to get up. Training staff with him is walking off slowly. But I would say very, very low percentage chance you see him again today.
My question is, what did poor Kyle Williams do to be saddled with Josh Dobbs? We continue on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray. Joe, Dobbs got your rookie wide receiver hurt. Not good. Not a good scene. High ball. Williams takes a hit to the head, does not return. I think the Patriots have a backup quarterback problem, which is only a problem if you have a real problem if Drake May gets hurt. But I'm sorry, this thing isn't good enough. This Josh Dobbs experience, not good enough.
I'll stay away from the Joe Milton trade. I'll stay away from not bringing in a veteran.
Why?
I'll stay away from the runway.
Shouldn't we go to that?
We should, but I'll just talk about what I saw today. I'll take away what else we saw from last preseason game. He had a bad week. He threw 2 pick sixes. He needed a good showing. Statistically, 11 to 16, 106 yards and a touchdown. Not bad, right? Like, I would say statistically, he had an improvement from last week.
They say he had a good Thursday. Wednesday was bad, real bad. Thursday was better. I know it's 11 to 16. The majority of those were Efton Chisum, wide open, over the middle, easy throw. Anybody can make that throw type of thing. He got Kyle Williams hurt. High ball, hospital ball. He missed Baker on the sideline. Baker got in between, cover 2, found the gap there, missed him on that.
Yeah,
let him out of bounds. Dobbs isn't good enough. Like, if Drake May gets hurt and misses some time, which, Joe, we cannot rule out with the concussion history, 2 last year. What if May misses a game or 2? Joshua Dobbs cannot win a game for you. He's not good enough to do that.
He's not. There's a history of Josh Dobbs having leads in games and losing. I give you the Tennessee playoff game versus the Jaguars where Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions in the first half and somehow they still lost. The guy can move around. He makes plays. He's very smart. I'm sure you've heard that before.
Astronaut.
He knows the that offense that Mike Vrabel likes to run. He knows it. But really, now we're going to talk about the runway. They wanted Drake May to be the guy with no pressure, clearly be the guy. At this point, do you think it was the right choice to this point?
No.
Okay.
No.
I agree with you.
Because if Drake May needs the runway clear for him, isn't that a knock on Drake May?
Yeah, it almost makes me wonder, do they have reservations of Drake May? Like, again, the Joe Milton trade still doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. I have theories, but I don't understand.
What are your theories?
I don't know. I feel like Kraft was throwing Jerry a bone. Hey, we want a clear runway for this guy. Why don't you take him and then, vote me in the Hall of Fame? So I'm just, all right, I'm just saying. They probably need to scour the wire. I will tell you that Woodbridge could be a practice squad quarterback.
He's not a number 2. He's not.
He could be a practice squad quarterback.
Joe, if you can't beat out Josh Dobbs, you're not a number 2. And Vrabel made it clear this week. Like, I don't think we have a backup quarterback competition going on.
There is none.
No, there's zero competition. That's a problem. You should be able to compete with that.
Do I think that he can be a safe option? I do. I just don't think it's helping Drake May stay competitive or keeping the team competitive. Drake May is not available.
That's safe. That's dangerous, Joe.
I know. Hey, listen, we watched him with the 49ers when Brock Purdy went down. I've seen enough of Josh Dobbs in my life, going back to his Pittsburgh Steelers days to going all the way back to Tennessee. I've had enough, but they gave him $3 million guaranteed. So now we're going to start to get into the numbers of guys. Is he somebody that they could say, hey, you didn't do good enough this preseason? You're cut? Like, would they eat the $3 million?
And get who?
That's what I'm saying.
That's the point.
There's nobody else.
No, I think you're
And
stuck
why did
with
they
this.
draft another one? This is another story for another day. All I'm saying
for today,
is,
based on what you saw, he hurt your rookie wide receiver.
Are you getting him in preseason game number 3?
Josh Dobbs, you're getting a lot of them.
Woof.
Because nobody's playing in preseason game number 3. Have fun with that, by the way. You'll be here, won't you? Did I hear it's an 8:00 start for preseason game number 3 on Amazon Prime?
Do we hear that, guys?
That's a rough.
Oh,
is that true? Kevin Majori, Jeremy Connolly, 8:00 start for preseason game number 3.
Oh, that was a weird thumbs up back there. That was a like, you know.
It's a thumbs down, thumbs up. That's what that is.
Yeah, is there a quarterback problem for their backup?
Yes.
They don't have one.
Yes.
They don't
Yeah,
have
that's an issue. If Tom Brady's your quarterback, that's one thing. You know,
yeah,
a guy
the
who's
years
been
of Rohan Davey.
Yeah.
David Gutierrez.
Matt Gutierrez.
Matt Gutierrez, David. Matt.
Might as well be.
But like,
just name a guy.
It is interesting though. Like, he had those backups and it worked
because he didn't need a backup. So, Drake May might need a backup.
He might. Maybe he needs a blow after a long run.
In some ways, it's what makes the way that they're coaching him so important, right? I mean, Vrabel and McDaniels. Do you feel like they're trying to beat the running game out of him just a little bit? They're trying to coach him up, and, be a passer. The Forged in Foxborough thing that I think really stood out to me. Episode 2, right away. Good job staying a passer. Good job being a passer. It feels to me that they're trying to coach that into Drake May, as they should. Because Drake May is a guy who's gotten by on athleticism and talent alone, right? And the talent jumps off the screen. It's exciting. It's tantalizing. They're trying to teach him how to play the position because he was raw coming out of college.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was the footwork stuff last year. It's the pocket presence. My favorite play from Drake May today, outside of the pre-snap stuff that led to the Henderson 11-yard run on 3rd and 10, was the Mac Hollins pass along the sideline because May stays in the pocket, rolls out of the pocket, stays a passer, and finds Hollins wide open along the sideline down the field when the play breaks down. Last year, Joe, I think he might take off in that spot. I think that's a reflection of the coaching from Vrabel and McDaniels.
Flip side of this, if you look at all the quarterbacks that were drafted, right, whether it's Caleb Williams, they had Tyson Bagent in the bag, but they brought in Case Keenum this offseason. I say what you want about Case Keenum, but he's a backup, right?
Yep, totally.
But a veteran, right?
Yep.
Michael Penix, he had Cousins. You look at Bo Nix, say what you want, but Jared Stidham at least pressured him.
He's been in the league.
Right, so
which I guess you could say about Josh Dobbs too. Would you rather have Stidham or Josh Dobbs?
Yep, and obviously we saw Sam Darnold with J.J. McCarthy. Yep. So Drake May's never had that guy.
Well, he did last year in Jacoby Brissett, but this year they made it. But they made it so that he does not have that guy, and that's a deliberate thing.
I guess you're right. I was trying to reach a little bit on, at least veterans are in there, and Brissett has started tons of games.
No, I think your point is still totally valid, Joe, because they don't have that guy this year.
They don't have it now. And
that's deliberate.
And how many times did Drake May say, Jacoby's been great? Jacoby's been showing me things that I couldn't see before. Is Josh Dobbs doing that? Would you want to? I know he's smart.
I don't want Josh Dobbs showing me anything
I
about
know he's very
smart,
though.
No, very smart guy. Quarterback, though, don't show me. You stay over there. I'm going to avert my eyes.
And you know what? Now I'm starting to wonder, is it something they would look at? Because they can have an emergency quarterback. Mm-hmm. I don't know who would get cut loose. I don't. Jimmy Garoppolo still throwing hospital balls out there. Saw him and Devontae Adams again. Good old friends playing a little catch, the both of them.
Speaking of good old friends, we have one coming up next. Greg Baddard, Boston Sports Journal. We'll ask him about Will Campbell, Drake May, everything. We'll break it all down. And we've got room for you on the phone lines at 617-779-0985. Patriots beat the Vikings today, 20-12. Let's get caught up with the headlines here from Joe Murray. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Patriots get a 20-12 win today, now 2-0 with their victory over the Vikings. They got a rushing touchdown from Travion Henderson.
One split left. Bermeo takes the snap. A give to Henderson. Big hole up the middle. Runs straight through it and carries across the 15-yard line with a first down, it appears, to the Minnesota 14.5.
That's what he can give you, Bob. Burst. As soon as he touches the football, his acceleration is impressive. The ability to just lean forward, and even though he's contacted before the first down, he's able to dive forward for a couple of extra yards, makes it easily.
Big gap in the defense for Travion Henderson on an 11-yard run in the first quarter. Unclogging the gaps is brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clog drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. They give a poop about your pipes. Patriots with a 20-12 win over the Vikings in preseason game number 2. It's the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray in today, and joining us as he always does on the postgame show is Greg Baddard. Greg, if we're going to talk about opening up gaps, there's one person we need to talk to about that. It's the big boy himself. What'd you make of the Patriots offensive line? It felt like they were a big part of the story this week coming out of joint practices. What did you see from them today?
Yeah, just on today, I mean, look, it's hard to really make a judgment because like the Commanders game the week before, the Vikings didn't suit anybody up. They even held out more people than the Commanders did. So the Patriots were going up against second and third team defensive guys for the Vikings. But I will say I think there was some good and bad. I thought that Will Campbell was pretty good in this game from what I could see. I didn't have him for any pressures on first look. He had a couple really nice run blocks, including on the Travion Henderson touchdown. He sort of one-armed the guy down the field. It was a really nice block. Ben Brown did some good work on that. But other than that, I didn't think it was very good. I think that probably the most distressing thing out of this game is that it seems like they've gone backwards in terms of coming up with their starting five on the offensive line. Ben Brown started the game at left guard. Weren't sure whether we were going to see Jared Wilson, who didn't take part in the second practice. He ends up coming in as the second team left guard, got his first snaps as center in a couple weeks at least. Owenu was okay, probably pretty good after I get to watch the film. Marcus Bryant at right tackle had a couple tough reps. So very much a mixed bag, but a lot of stuff to sort out on the interior because it looks like Jared Wilson has been demoted. And who knows, with the Garrett Bradbury looked like he did not play well at all today. And does that mean that center is now in open competition? I just think left guard and center are now in a blender at this point for the Patriots, and not ideal with just over 3 weeks left until the season opener.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did anybody emerge today? I mean, I saw Cole Strange at center. City Cell had some sort of penalty there. Jacobs, again, last week I thought he was decent, but Vidarian Lowe sighting today as well. It's just a mixed bag, Greg. Is anybody emerging at this point?
No, I mean, look, I think they're set. I would say that they are set right now, obviously at left tackle, at right guard, and right tackle with Morgan Moses. The Patriots might say that they are set at center. I think after they watch this film of Garrett Bradbury in this game, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think, and now left guard, what do you do? I mean, Ben Brown's really not a guard. He hasn't played guard until, just recently. He's been only a center. Cole Strange, maybe he gets back in the mix at left guard. They don't really have any options beyond that. Layden Robinson, City So got a little bit of time, like you said, but he's been very much working on the third team. Tyrese Robinson is in there late, so there's a lot to sort out at left guard and center, and I don't know which direction it's going to go. I don't think we're going to be able to. Now the Patriots go behind closed doors until the season opener. Other than the preseason game against the Giants, where probably not many people are going to play. I would probably play a lot of the offensive linemen, at least the left guards and centers, and sort that out. But there's a lot they have to sort out.
Greg, is there an argument to be made for maybe moving Owenu to the left side, putting him at left guard? I mean, given the money they're paying him, being a veteran player that he is, I'm sure I know he's better on the right, but you've got a rookie left tackle in Will Campbell. I would make that argument, but I defer to you on offensive line opinions.
No, I am done moving Mike Owenu anywhere. We've seen that with the whole tackle stuff. It did not go well for him. He is a Pro Bowl caliber right guard. Asking him to switch sides is, not ideal. I mean, it's not the toughest thing in the world, but I think they've screwed around with him so long to his detriment that I don't see that being much of an option at all for them.
Greg, let's talk about the wide receiver room. Efton Chisum had himself a nice day. Seems to get better, and he's really shifty, meaning he doesn't take on hits, and a really strong move around the goal line there. Kyle Williams took a ball from Josh Dobbs and left the game. There's reports about Stephon Diggs maybe slowing down a little bit. What does that room look like, and does it look like Efton Chisum is going to get a roster spot?
Yeah, I've had him there all along. I mean, I think that what he did today is sort of a continuation of what he's done on the practice field. Now, he hasn't gotten, many reps, if any, with the first team. And also, what we've seen him do in the practices, in the games, again, it's against backups and third stringers. So really the only question about him is, can he do this against the starters? And I think he's going to get that opportunity. I think if the Patriots decide to release him and maybe try to get him to the practice squad, I think there's very little chance of that. I think he gets snapped up in about 0.2 seconds. I think the room is pretty much set depending on, Jalen Polk's injury status. He hasn't been put on IR yet, but I think, Diggs, Hollins, Kyle Williams got dinged up today. Hopefully that's not a long-term thing. Douglas, Booty, Chisum, and then it's, do you keep one of Polk, Bourne, Javon Baker, who had kind of a rough day today with, I think he had 1 catch and 7 targets. Not all his fault. Josh Dobbs was erratic again. He also had a boneheaded false start in the red zone, which is not going to help his case. So, I think that room's pretty close. It's just a matter of how many are they going to keep. I've had 7 on my previous 53s. I haven't done an update this week, but I will after this game.
Who were your 7, if you don't mind me asking, Greg? Was Baker one of them? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so going into this week, I had Diggs, Hollins, Williams, Douglas, Booty, Polk, and Chisum. Now, Polk had the injury, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. I could see him ending up on IR. And now it's, do you want to keep Bourne or Baker? And I'm not sure. Bourne hasn't been out there in a while. It looked like he was falling down the depth chart when he was. You might be able to get something for him in a trade, maybe back to the 49ers, where they're having a lot of issues in their wide receiver room with people being healthy. So, as of right now, I probably have 6, and then, the argument is going to be, do you keep 7?
Did Baker lose a job today, if he even had one in the first place?
It could be. We'll have to see how he did on special teams. He kind of, stood out a little bit there in the first preseason game. I didn't notice anything offhand. He still did a good job, like running routes. He got open late in the back of the end zone. There was sticky coverage. He got loose of it, might have pushed off a little bit. But Dobbs, I think he hit his hand on a defender as he let it go. He got open on the sideline, but Dobbs threw high to him. I think the film is kind to him, and I'm not quite ready to write him off quite yet.
Greg, I just wanted to ask your thoughts on Stephon Diggs and some of the reporting this week. Is he slowing down? Is he not a number 1 receiver? What is your take on Diggs' performance so far?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Stephon Diggs, and I asked because there's been a few things. There's been the Commanders' joint practice. He comes on midway through, and there were some reports that that was the plan, and they wanted to keep competitive reps to a minimum for him. But the part of practice that he missed, there's no competitive reps. It's just basically like walkthroughs and things like that. It didn't make any sense. And then he didn't play in the game, and Vrabel says it was coach's decision. You could read that as he was late getting out on the field. I don't know, but a lot of it, the explanations didn't make sense. Then Todd Downing talks to the media and basically hinted that he's not happy with his role or the production, and they're dealing with that behind the scenes. He did take part in the 2 joint practices here. He did all right. I mean, I just think he's not making a huge impact, but I think it's just, if I had to read it, I think it's just part of the process with him coming back from ACL, and I think they're just trying to pace him. But, he went on Diana Rossini's podcast, and he's playing coy about whether he's going to be activated for week 1. And, I don't think that's what the Patriots want. I mean, Vrabel was asked about it, and, I agree with Vrabel. Like, if you watch practice, he's going to be out there week 1. He's been out there every single day, and it just seems like they're ramping him up. But I'm not ready to say that he's slowing down. I never thought he was a number 1. He might be a number 1 for this team, but I think as of right now, that's probably going to be Demario Douglas.
We'll get Greg's thoughts on Drake May's day and the performance of the offensive starters. Also, the Kyle Duggar situation, which played out interestingly, to say the least, at the end of this game. And we'll continue with you on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. 617-779-0985. It's Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray. Greg Baddard joining us here as well. Patriots with a 20-12 victory over the Minnesota Vikings. We continue on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub, Patriots Radio Network.
This is Cole Strange. Credit Union's Kids at Heart is again funding research on treatments for many pediatric brain diseases. With each
is good. So Borregales connects, and the Patriots have a 29 lead.
Andy Borregales from 51 yards out. This season, as part of their Apex Cares program, Apex Entertainment will be donating $100 to the New England Center for Children for every converted field goal. Every point, every dollar helps. For more information, go to apexentertainment.com. The Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show rolls on. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray, Greg Baddard. Joe, I know you have a thought that you wanted to get to on the kicking competition and the special teams as a whole.
Yeah, Greg, outside of the some of the kickoffs late in the game with the second and third people, is there are they prioritizing special teams a little bit more when it comes to the kick return game? It's been really good after 2 weeks. Is this a Springer thing? Is it Vrabel, more of an emphasis on it? It's just much better through 2 preseason games.
Yeah, I think it's been really good, Joe. I agree with you, and I think it's an emphasis. I think it started probably with John Stretch Striker and Vrabel once the NFL sort of tweaked the kickoff rules, where a touchback goes to the 35, and I think they sort of went to work and saw how it could be an advantage. It probably factored into their decision to draft like a Travion Henderson like early in the second round, that not just a running back and pass receiver, but also could be very dangerous on kickoffs. But they've certainly done a really good job, and I think that's going to continue to be an emphasis for them. And I think, look, let's be honest, the Patriots still aren't the most talented team in the world, and they're going to have to win. If they're going to win a lot of games, if they're going to push for a postseason spot, they're going to have to win in the margins. They're going to have to win, not taking care of the ball and turning it over on defense, and also making a few, key plays on special teams. So I think it all factors in.
How do you handicap the kicking battle and the competition right now, Greg?
Yeah, interesting question. I wasn't thrilled today with the long snaps of Julian Ashby, who the Patriots did end up, drafting in the 7th round. I think the first long snapper that's been drafted in a long time in the NFL. And he's been pretty good up to this point, but I thought he was high on the extra point snap. I thought he was also high on the Borregales attempt from 57. I think they also got on late on the field. So I don't think I'm going to dock Borregales all that much. Of course, we'll have to, see what the Patriots think. But I would say it's pretty even. And, I'm not that distressed about Borregales' sort of shank from 57, whereas, Parker Romo made from 57 the week before. I just didn't think the operation was very good. It was much better on Borregales' field goal that he got towards the end of the game. And that makes it a little bit more even when you're talking about the competition. I just thought the operation was a little shaky today.
Greg, who's got more likely a chance of making the team, Anthony Jennings or Kyle Duggar?
Ooh, boy. Great question. I mean,
neither.
I know. I mean, to see, Jennings came out of the game a little bit earlier, but not all that earlier. And you see Kyle Duggar, and then also, Marcus Epps, another veteran. Of course, he's trying to sort of make the team, and he's coming back from ACL surgery. But, I think the way that they use them, I mean, I still think they're both long shots to make the team. I've had them off my roster the entire time. And I think that Jennings is still a really good player. It's just a question of fit, and also, do you keep younger guys like Truman Jones and Elijah Ponder, and of course they're probably going to keep Braden Swinson, their 5th round draft pick. Duggar is at safety. They have a bunch of guys that they can play. I mean, they still really like Peppers. You have Jalen Hawkins. Craig Woodson has come on. I think it's between Duggar and Epps sort of for that final spot. I mean, then again, Del Pettis was getting reps in practice over Kyle Duggar when Jabril Peppers missed the second practice. So I would say that Jennings has the best shot, especially if there's an injury. I do think he's going to have trade value. I don't know how much trade value Kyle Duggar is going to have because of his contract. Patriots might have to eat some money to get anything in a trade for him. But I would say the longer odds are Kyle Duggar. I mean, for him to be out there till the end of the game, I mean, yes, he had an interception on the final play, showed his boneheadedness, not going right down, almost fumbled for a game tying touchdown. He had a coverage mix-up earlier in the game. He factored into the 4th and forever play that the Vikings converted. He's having a really tough run.
We'll be getting into what that interception not going down might have meant for some gamblers out there. I know Joe has some thoughts on that. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Greg, we can't let you go without asking about what you thought of Drake May's day and the performance of the starting offensive unit as a whole.
Not great. Again, from Drake, it's odd because he's been really good in the practices, and I don't know if he's just one of these guys. And I've covered guys like that, like Brett Favre. I remember even in his later years, still came out like sort of amped in games and would be wild high, and you sort of had to factor that in. Are they going to have to factor that in with Drake May? Is this a situation where he needs to get settled into the game? Because I mean, he missed Demario Douglas. He also, on that play where he went out to the right and found Mac Hollins along the sideline, and I think Mac Hollins is doing a lot of good stuff since he's been back. But he had options with Demario Douglas to a lesser extent in the right sort of seam. Kyle Williams was wide open down the left side, and Drake just missed him. And so they got to get that figured out. The running game's pretty good, but I would say in the games, Drake May and the first-team offense have been mediocre at best.
All right, Greg, we'll be checking out your coverage as always in the Boston Sports Journal. We appreciate the insight, and we'll talk to you Thursday night after preseason game number 3.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks a lot. Greg Baddard from the Boston Sports Journal, joining us as he does every Patriots postgame. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Joe, won't somebody think about the gamblers?
Yes, the total was 36. Sounds like there might have been a fumble back there in the end zone. It's preseason football for everybody here, Matt. But yeah, I don't know how that game didn't go over with all those field goals.
Was it, as some would call it, smelly?
They ended that game. If this was a regular season game, facts, everybody, facts. If this was a regular season game, there is no way they let the refs leave the game.
We'll get into that. The final play of this game. I can't believe we're legitimately going to talk about the final play of a preseason game. Kyle Duggar in the middle of all of it. What that all means, we'll do that. Joe Murray's going to get you caught up on Sports Hub headlines after we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. WBCFM at HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. He's the media group station.
as the intercepting player is down in the end zone for a touchback.
Mike Vrabel wants out. He has sprinted all the way to the opposite sideline to shake hands with Kevin O'Connell.
And it was Duggar who had the ball stripped away.
That is very close. Vrabel's going into
to the
locker room.
Vikings' credit, they gave effort and finished through the play. The ball came loose, raked out by Nesbitt, the tight end, who recovered it. The teams are coming out onto the field to shake hands, but there's a case, and again, he didn't have a lot of time to get down, but you make that play, you got to get down.
To get down
immediately.
Boy, just when you thought Kyle Duggar might have a positive moment to hang his hat on, that to me is a mental lapse late in the game, at the end of the game, for a guy who really has no excuse to make that kind of mental lapse. I think the ball was out. I just think they are calling the game because Mike Vrabel and some of the Patriots have already sprinted off the field.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. It is a touchback. This is the end of the game.
You ever seen a team make such a quick exit from a field? After the Kyle Duggar interception, maybe fumble, they go to review it. We're gone. Sorry, we can't keep playing anymore. Preseason game over. We're on the flight. It's the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray. All right, Joe, what'd you make of that? The gamblers get screwed in that moment?
Yeah, the total was 36.5, everybody. Right? A lot of field goals in this one.
A lot of field goals.
20-12. So that would have been 32 plus,
The Vikings fell on the ball in the end zone, didn't they?
Oh, they did. They did. All right. So I've been known to maybe get a little loud sometimes. What were you doing? You catch the ball or you knock it down. What was he going to do? Go 100 yards? What the hell was he doing?
I have no idea.
What was he thinking?
He's going to try and prove something.
What?
Well, because I'm going to take the ball 105 yards and I'm going to score, and people are going to say that I shouldn't be out there at the end of a preseason game. That's what he was trying to do there. He was trying to make something happen because he knows. Because he's lost his job.
Do you know what you do? You know how you make something happen?
You get down.
Catch the ball and you fall.
Down. Down you go.
Down, boy. Down. That is worthy enough of this is why he's in that spot. You know what? Now you can't even trust him in that spot.
No.
Now you can't have him on the field in that type of opportunity because he just showed you in a situation what he would do. Again, Kyle Duggar, listen, he was a reach of a draft pick. He played at a small school. He got coached up to a point where he showed ability in the running game, right? Really could, at times, down runner that could stop in the backfield, could play up in the box. But when it comes to actually coverage, stinks.
Can't do it.
And what do you do with him? Can he cover tight ends? Probably not, right? He gets confused at times. He freelances at times. They have two strong safeties back there, Peppers and Duggar. And quite frankly, they really don't have a free safety. This is why I do think that Woodson's coming along here. Now, again, another thing about Woodson that you should know is he played with Jalen Hawkins at Cal. So they have a pretty good chemistry there. But Hawkins is a special teamer. Like, he's going to be an extra safety if you need it. If anything, Pettis is the guy. Like, that's the next guy. There's no room for that type of just ignorance at the end of the game. That was stupidity.
Yeah, I would have kept him up until that moment. Because what if Peppers gets hurt? He plays a very physical style of play. It's not like you're going to save any money on Duggar. If you cut him, you're not going to save that much money. I would have kept him. I think he showed you where he is at this point. He's broken, obviously, by the experience. He's lost his job. He's trying to prove something there. Can't have it. Can't do it. He's got to go.
May I just say
it's
this?
over. It's done.
For the people that want to say, well, he was down. What are you worried about? You can't be a leader on the team. If that was Pettis at the end of the game and he went down, he'd be applauded for it. They would talk about in the meeting, hey, you made a great play here. This was how the team went off. Mm-hmm. You can keep the football if you want. Like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? This is now what the hell was this? They're going to sit in there and be like, what's this? Right? Well, the defensive court, everyone's going to get together and be like, you can't do this.
It's got to be the number one play you put on the screen on Monday, right?
Effort, finish.
He didn't finish.
He did none.
617-779-0985. How about Tommy and Lynn? Tommy!
Hey, what's up, guys? This is what I got to say. I think this team's going to do good. They got to learn from these mistakes. It's only preseason, but this team's going to be good because this team's bought in. They're bought in with Vrabel. They like Vrabel. Joe, Drake May's going to be good this year. I have faith in him, Joe. He's going to be good, Joe. What? Come on, Joe. You got to believe in the kid, right?
I mean, I think that he has all the gifts, right? Arm, can run, seems to be pretty intelligent, right? Picking up the play. You mentioned some of the audibles he's made. He has great vision, especially with running the football. Can he handle everything? Can he do it all? It's up in the air. I don't know, but I have confidence, though.
You have a problem with what they're asking of him, though.
My issue is that in a Josh McDaniels offense, Josh McDaniels asks the quarterback to do everything. Okay, you watch other teams, the center makes the calls at the line, right?
Do you want to trust Garrett Bradbury to make calls?
Well, they don't have a guy.
I know.
But the thing is, if they did, it's still... My point is, Josh McDaniels has done this with other quarterbacks. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. He did it with Mac Jones. First year, right? But what happened? They took the air out of the football. And then he said, I don't want to... I'm out of here. I'm not working with this guy. So it worked early on.
Well, he did get a head coaching job.
May I remind you, though, Mac Jones came from, a pro offense and had more experience than Drake May.
Mac Jones didn't have anywhere near the physical talent that Drake May has. He also had attitude problems, so there's that. But he was experienced, and from I think from a football perspective, he was prepared enough to play in that type of system. That is an advantage that Jones had coming out of college that May did not have. May's a raw talent. That's what he is. I mean, were they coaching it up at UNC, Joe? Or was everything at UNC about Drake May, his talent, his ability, that offense just revolving around that? It was a very college-style thing.
It was exactly what it was last year with the Patriots, with Alex Van Pelt just delivering the play and letting him ad-lib out there and, just do his thing. I think with coaching, he picks it up easily. There are a lot of things I like about Drake May. The turnover-worthy plays are something that's still of concern. I do think that after witnessing what we saw with Mac Jones that first year with McDaniels, I do think he could try to maybe rein him in a little bit, but I think it's Vrabel coaching him hard. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's Josh McDaniels necessarily coaching him hard.
So I'm not concerned about them asking too much of Drake May. They should ask a lot of Drake May. If the Patriots are going to, be a force again in the NFL, it's going to be because Drake May is that guy. So I want my offense to ask a lot of the quarterback. I want the quarterback to lead everything. I want the quarterback to be the reason why, because that's how you win in the NFL. So, for the folks who say, well, Josh McDaniels' system is too complicated. Well, shouldn't Drake May be able to pick that up if he is that guy? Yep. If he truly is the person you want to build around and believe in, shouldn't he be able to do it? I think he should be able to do it. It's an NFL offense, all right?
Yep.
That's what it is. If he can't figure out, and I get it, it's complex, but if he can't figure it out, that's on Drake May. That's not on Josh McDaniels.
I'll say this, the other teams are saying good things about Drake May. So what we're hearing here from the media is all we got. But there's been reports from Minnesota and Washington that they've been really impressed. But can we be a little objective? He hasn't been great. At least what we've seen in preseason action, he hasn't been great.
I didn't have a problem with what I saw from him today.
Me either, really. I was glad they let him back out there. We talked about how he's made out. But that's the story of Drake May. He's thrown picks before and come back out there and led them to touchdown drives.
So the issue I had was the delay of game. If you're a little amped up, it's a preseason game, whatever, and you accidentally overthrow a receiver, I don't question his physical ability. Okay, he overthrew Pop Douglas. Fine. I can excuse that away. The delay of game, I can't excuse away. That's a problem. But what he did on the second drive, he bounced back from that thing. That's what I want to see. I know Greg was kind of down on his performance. I was down on May's performance after game 1. I'm not down on his performance after game 2. I thought he was good today. That second drive is what I needed to see. And granted, both games were against second stringers on the defensive side of the ball. So how much stock can you really put into it? Not as much. I put more stock into the joint practices, and the reports coming out of joint practices were, even in spite of bad offensive line play, Drake May was good. I think he's had a good summer.
You don't see him next week?
Oh, no way. Short week, too.
So you think he's ready for the Raiders? And Max Crosby.
I think he's more ready than the rest of this offense. Yeah. I think he's more ready than this offensive line. Yeah, I do.
I think we've done the tiers. The running back room is the best on offense.
Yeah. Better tight end.
And Drake May is it tight end?
Henry and Hooper. It's not bad.
I mean, I guess
do worse.
Yeah, but have we seen it? Yeah.
Well, not in preseason, but Henry wasn't out there today.
No, but I'm saying, like, at this point, running back, check.
Yep.
Quarterback, check.
It has to be a check. If it's not a check, Joe, where are you? You're screwed. It better be a check.
I only ask the questions.
That's what we're here to do. We're here to ask questions. 617-779-0985. It's the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots post-game show. We continue. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network. Joe doing the Pete Soundgen here in the studio. You can see it on YouTube, as the Shaw's and Star Markets Patriots Postgame Show is always on YouTube. That's our music of the game, brought to you by Live Nation, one of the greatest bands in rock history, The Who. Present The Song Is Over Farewell Tour on August 26th at Fenway Park. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Joe, you and I saw The Who together many years ago.
We actually sat next to each other. You're 6'6", I'm 6'3".
At Fenway Park.
And we fit.
I don't know how. Honestly, it's the biggest miracle I've ever experienced in my life. I don't recall being uncomfortable.
I don't either. Maybe they gave us bigger seats.
We should go.
I'm in.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
They were great.
Are we going to be doing who is going to get cut next week?
Who is going to get cut next week?
You think anyone gets cut before next week?
At this point, shouldn't you just try and help Duggar and Jennings out now?
I wonder if you could get something for Jennings. Because
you might be able to.
It's a different defensive scheme, which is the reason why he won't fit in. But today, when they let him just rush, he made 3 plays.
He belongs in the league.
He belongs in the league, and he can probably play special teams. But it's the whole different gap scheme that they're doing this year why he's not a great fit.
Vrabel talked about it after the game. He said he's seen competitiveness from him. He said he's had conversations with Jennings and basically said we've got young guys, which is... I think he praised Jennings, praised his professionalism, but basically acknowledged we're going to go in a different direction because of the gap scheme. It's just the way it is. So, honestly, Joe, I think it would do him a favor at this point. It would do Duggar a favor at this point.
Yeah, who would have thought that Spillane's good. Christian Ellis passed him. Is Jelani Tavai on the bubble?
Jelani Tavai, basically, I think, still being here. I don't know if he's on the team. I assume he is, but Tavai still being here might be the upset of the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Of all the guys they purged, and they purged.
Yeah.
That was a purge.
Wait, was he a Mayo extension too? I got to look that one up.
He was a Mayo guy.
He was a Mayo guy.
We all know that.
Did not like what the fans had to say.
You would think removing entitlement from the organization, which was the Mike Vrabel line of the offseason, theoretically, the first guy you would remove if you're removing entitlement would be the guy who goes out and takes a steaming dump all over the fans right before the final game of the year.
Yeah. I found out there was a guy named Elijah Ponder on the team today. Did you know who he was before?
Nope.
Yeah. He went to Cal Polytech, and he's playing linebacker.
Maybe this is something for you and Barth on Thursday night. Did you know this guy exists? Of course, Alex Barth will know that all of these guys existed. Mm-hmm. That's his job.
Do you know who Monty Rice is?
No.
Yep, he's on that team too.
On what team? The Patriots?
The Patriots. And,
like these Patriots?
Yeah, and he went to Georgia.
New England Patriots.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Georgia football. Can't tell you who Monty Rice is.
I watched the full game today. Couldn't tell you.
Did you see who R.J. Moten is?
No.
Went to Florida. Don't remember him either. But guess what? Probably all getting a shot over Anthony Jennings. He's out.
It's a tough spot to be in. They all play linebacker?
Every one of them.
I'll be damned.
They'll be playing next week, though.
You and Barth will see a lot of those guys on Thursday.
Elijah Ponder, baby. Let's go.
How about that? Good for them. 617-779-0985. Let's go to Steve in the car. Hey, Steve.
Yeah, I'm calling about Drake May. And you had a gentleman on earlier, and he hit the nail on the head. I think Drake May has to sit down. If he really wants to learn this offense, he has to put the time in. And if he wants to get the rapport with the receivers, he has to work with them after practice, after the games, just like Tom Brady. That's how he became good. Tom Brady was dedicated. He studied, he practiced, and practiced after practice like Larry Bird.
Are you suggesting that May does not do that?
Well, the way he's playing right now, he's throwing like crap. He's throwing over people. He should be hitting people right in the chest.
Feels like an overreaction to me, Joe.
Drake May is the first one there on the field. Last one to go. Very good in the film room. Hey, listen, he overthrew and he had to delay a game when he fumbled last week. He's 22 years old. He hasn't had as many reps as every other quarterback.
You know what the problem is? It's exactly what you've been saying. It's the real stuff we don't see. It's the joint practices.
Yeah.
So you look at a drive in preseason game number 2 against a bunch of second stringers, and May has 2 bad plays in a row. You say, what, he sucks? Well, he had a good week in Minnesota, according to all the reports. Now, you can't independently verify that because you're not there. You're not in Minnesota watching joint practices, so you have to take the word of the beat reporters. It feels to me, Joe, like Drake May's had a good summer.
He looks bigger. He's quicker. You know what I did like this week? I'll say this. I was critical last week of that sack. Maybe there was a mix-up between Wilson and Campbell. They got messed up on some sort of stunt or whatever the hell it was. But the footwork wasn't great by Mac Jones. It's like just Mac Jones. It wasn't great by Drake May.
How dare you?
I went back to a dark place for a second there.
Please don't bring me there with you.
The footwork was an issue, I thought. Bill Belichick talked about that when he came out of the draft. Last year, I think he was freelancing at times, just by ability, okay? His footwork looked better today. I know we only got, 7 reps? It looked better.
That has to do with coaching. And I think Drake May got good coaching from Alex Van Pelt last year. Now, he told apparently Jason McCourty or Devin McCourty, one of the McCourtys, that McDaniels is far more vocal in his headset. We can debate about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I would tend to think it's a good thing with the young quarterback. McDaniels has been around a long time. You know, the point being, Joe, I don't think we're going to look at this at the end of the year and say the coaching wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Josh McDaniels, if Drake May does not have a good year, I've made the argument that Josh McDaniels will be the fall guy.
Yes.
But say what you will about Josh McDaniels, and I think there are a lot of fans who are not on board with the idea of Josh McDaniels. The guy has been an offensive coordinator in the league for close to 20 years.
He's the most highly decorated offensive coordinator maybe in NFL history.
You know, statistically, he might not be wrong about that. That feels uncomfortable.
Kyle Shanahan won the award, but has lost 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other ones had 3 jobs and got fired by all 3 jobs.
Josh McDaniels not the most decorated head coach in the history of the NFL.
Absolutely not.
Well, in some senses, he might be.
Let me be fair. I think that Josh McDaniels allowing Drake May to do everything instills a lot of confidence in the kid. And could it be why there was a delay of game? Maybe.
That he was in his head?
Could there be why maybe he overthrew somebody to try to speed up the process or make sure everybody's on track? I just still think he needs to work on what he does instead of worrying about everyone else being lined up right.
I just don't think it's going to be a coaching problem. Maybe the scheme isn't what you want it to be. I'm sorry. I'm not going to look at Drake May at the end of this year and say, well, the coaching hasn't been good enough. Alex Van Pelt has coached quarterbacks in this league for 20 years. Josh McDaniels has worked with quarterbacks in this league for 20 years. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I just don't. That's just me. How about DP in Virginia? DP.
Hello, guys. How you guys doing?
What's up, man?
When people talk about like Drake May's ability for with throwing the football, like that's one thing that should be a discussion, for sure, because when you're constantly airbailing people or whatever, like you're missing out on opportunities. You can't make those type of throws or have those type of mishaps throughout the regular season.
Is Drake May constantly overthrowing guys? He had 1 overthrow today.
A little bit of a sale. I think he's doing too much. That's just an opinion.
You know what? I will say his first 2 throws. There were 2 throws on the first drive. The ball to Hollins was high. The ball to Douglas was really high, nearly got picked. Yes, it was not a good drive for him.
I was going to ask you about the Hollins throw. Hollins is 6'4". Mm-hmm. If that's Chisum, is he making the play?
No. I think it also speaks to May's comfort with Hollins. Mm-hmm. That was one of my primary takeaways today, Joe. Those 2 have a good rapport.
Well, and let's not remember, Hollins' best season was with who? Josh McDaniels in Vegas. So he knows the offense. He's a boundary receiver, which they don't have over there. So it was a little bit of a sale. But again, I think he's the cadences and this is the mic and make sure the line's shifting this way. You're asking a kid who doesn't have a lot of reps to do a lot. I understand he's the 3rd overall pick. You expect a lot from him.
I do.
This is the time to get that stuff out of the way. But I do think when the regular season comes, as we discussed earlier, there might be more handoffs. and then maybe some shots downfield.
We haven't really talked much about the defense outside of Kyle Duggar today. I do want to get to that. And the week that they had felt like an up and down week for them. And the state of that unit, which I think we spend very little time on, Joe. And we'll get to your thoughts as well at 617-779-0985. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Quick update here from Joe Murray.
Sports Hub.
And then he gets drilled as he throws to the near side, and it hangs up in the air and is picked off by the Patriots at the 35-yard line of Minnesota. A floater created by pressure and a pick by Alex Austin, who's had a good training camp for the Patriots with the interception.
This defense is responding to what was really an atrocious day, too, of joint practices with the Vikings. Milton Williams helping create pressure there. Then you got K'Lavon Chason right in the face of the quarterback. The ball's deflected, and Alex Austin, who's had a really impressive summer, plays outside and inside, which to me could be important this season if they want some size on the slot. Great job by this defense responding.
Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray, Phil Perry on the call there and Bob Sosi, of course, of the Alex Austin interception, which Phil mentioned that the Patriots had a rough day two of joint practices. Today, much better. But this is where we do need to keep some things in context. That was the number one Patriots defense out there for the most part against a bunch of number twos for the Minnesota Vikings. That Sam Howell pick, that's on Sam Howell. That's woof.
Poor
that's
Sam.
Not good.
Poor Sam Howell, was the big star at North Carolina before Drake May. Played for Washington for a little bit. Maybe looked like he had a promising career. Then they ship him off to Seattle. And then Geno Smith takes over. And it's like, oh, man. And then he gets traded to where? Today in minute. Like, where is he? He's going to get cut. Again, a couple of things regarding the defense. Number one, I know who they played against. I know it's the preseason. But can we put respect on the name that they didn't give up any touchdowns?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course you can. You have to put it in context. Who are they playing against? But yes, the defense as a whole has been good this preseason.
Would you say it was good last week?
Yes.
I would too.
Yes, I would.
Based off what we've seen, understanding that both teams haven't played their top units, maybe even their second units, the defense looks improved.
So I'm just putting more stock in what I'm hearing out of joint practices with the defense. That's all. And Wednesday was good. Thursday was not good. So that's a draw. I think in some ways a disappointing week for the defense, given you're going up against J.J. McCarthy, who I'm not a fan of. Cousin J.J., not my guy.
I'm a J.J. guy. So we'll see. I just think they're too talented. Now, they're going to miss Addison for a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. We'll see. And Jefferson, Still, the Vikings have better with their team than the Patriots. Like, no matter how you look at it, they have a better pass rusher, better wide receiver, better tight end. I don't know. We can talk about that. But if we're just going to stick to the corner position, I did think Carlton Davis had a really nice play today. It was handsy.
A little bit,
but
little grab.
He's a veteran who probably gets the call, which we saw today. So right now I have Gonzo Davis.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's good.
Okay, the Joe Big Board. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alex Austin has fit into being maybe a third, fourth defensive back.
I think they're pretty good at corner. And it hasn't been one of the takeaways from camp is that even with Gonzalez down and Davis missing a lot of time, those guys have represented themselves pretty well.
Mm-hmm. The common theme is between Austin and DJ James, these are guys that were released elsewhere that came to New England and fit the scheme, right? I mean, James had the interception last week, Austin this week. Austin had some plays last year too. So Marcus Jones is your nickel. They're also going to put Peppers there. So the question is, does Kobe Minor, Mr. Irrelevant, make the team? I don't know. Does Isaiah Bolden, who has success and special teams, is he going to make the team? Does Kid Jordan Polk have an interception last week and had a nice little special teams play today?
Yeah, Vrabel mentioned that postgame.
So, they're deep. It's just, this is why Kyle Duggar is not going to make the team. Because I think they might add maybe an extra defensive back, plus Peppers can play there. Maybe they'll keep they'll remove an extra safety for that reason.
On the whole, how do you feel about the defense?
They need to stop the run. And here's the deal. There's been so much inconsistency regarding the offensive line, wide receivers getting open, that they're going to have to rely on the defense to make stops. This is why I mentioned, do they prioritize special teams? Because they've been really good in the kick return, which gives them better field position. Well, the better field position is probably going to help their defense a little bit at times and get more rest, et cetera, et cetera. I think Vrabel's going to scheme it differently. It's different. You're not going to be able to scout the same gaps that they did before. It is different. If they can stop the run, I think they can be elite.
I think that's their biggest question. I think they're going to be able to get after the passer this year. I think they're pretty solid in the secondary. I've got questions about the free safety spot. I do. But I think at corner, they're pretty good. And I think they've got some decent depth there. And Gonzalez and Davis, if they stay healthy, there's a question of that with both those guys.
Both guys.
Huge questions, no doubt. But if they're healthy, that's a pretty good unit. Can they stop the run, Joe? Couldn't agree more.
And listen, I think Mike Vrabel's personally worked with Christian Barmore. I think Vrabel sees something in this kid. He was a stud. I mean, besides his health issue, Christian Barmore has been nothing but a standout. Absolutely. Can he do it every down with Milton Williams, who's never done it on 3 downs? Do they have depth there? They had to bring in Pico this week, who, by the way, has played with everybody. All right? He's played with McDaniels. He's played with Vrabel. He's played with Todd Downey. He played with everybody, okay? There's still a little short there. But that's where I think their biggest issue will be. And can Keon White hold it? Is he a pass rusher or is he a run? Like, what is he? And at times, they're only going to have 3 down linemen with Landry and Chase on, and we should probably talk about him, too. He was involved in a play today. And I just wonder if
Sam Howell got involved with him on that.
Yeah, was it Sam Howell or was it Chason's athletic ability?
No, Chason pressured him. Sam Howell just happened to roll towards him.
Did he get scared?
He got scared.
Ah, okay.
You saw the man running it. Joe, would you have been scared in that moment?
I would say there was not a lot of effort
scared.
and finish on that play.
From Sam Howell.
I would say effort and finish. Would I take Sam Howell over Josh Dobbs?
Oh, boy. That's a tough one.
Well, listen, North Carolina room. They can hang out together and go out together and talk about the glory days.
If we're clearing the runway for Drake May by getting Joe Milton out of town, I don't want to bring in one of his buddies from North Carolina to just be there.
Well, Mitchie in Buffalo, with Josh Allen. They're buddies too, North Carolina guy.
The backup quarterback thing is a problem. It's a problem.
We were talking about the defense, and again, Sam Howell getting scared, and somehow we're still, because it is a problem. The Patriots are building blocks, right? That's what the season's all about. There's projections about 8 wins. The ceiling this week, it's either 11-6 or 6-11. Like, for me, the most important thing this year is becoming desirable, right? Show promise. So next year, when you have the money to spend, because you didn't spend it this year again, do people want to play for you? And I think that's their biggest thing this year, and they have some pieces here to become desirable. So if they don't win 8 games, but there's progression and building blocks, I think it's still a desirable destination.
You think they're winning under 8? The over/under is 8.5. You're taking the under.
I'm
this
on
year.
the under 8.5, but it's because I just think 4-9's a gigantic.
It's massive,
jump.
Massive. We were talking about this on our flagship station, 98.5 The Sports Hub, yesterday with Mike Felger, and the argument was, 20% of teams go from worst to first in the NFL. So, 80% of teams don't. 4-9 would be a massive jump for a team. 4-8 wins is a massive jump. Like, let's not ignore how bad they've been for the last 2 years. I think there's progress being made here, Joe. I think this week is proof that there's progress being made here. Was it perfect? No. Did they have a bad day on Thursday in joint practices? Yes. Did they have a good day on Wednesday in joint practices? Yes, they did. Against a 14-win team from last year. Were they the better team on the field today? Yes, they were. Granted, it was some starters for the Patriots against a lot of number 2s and 3s for the Minnesota Vikings. Let's keep that all in context. Let's not ignore that. Did they have a good week? Yes or no?
Yeah.
They had a good week.
They won.
They had a good week last week against Washington, too.
Winning helps. I know it's preseason. Winning helps. I want you to ponder on this one during the break.
You want me to think?
Is Vrabel...
You're expecting me to think.
Yes. Do you think Vrabel and his building blocks raise the floor, or is there a ceiling to what he can actually do?
We'll get into that on the other side. We've got your room for your thoughts as well at 617-779-0985. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. The Patriots with a 20-12 win over the Vikings, improving to 2-0 in the preseason, will continue on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Artificial intelligence, AI, has made my life so...
Oh, this is so exciting. Thank God we got a virtual measurement today, Bob. I was really hoping that we'd get a repeat performance of this after last week. It took about 5 minutes to get the virtual measurement correct.
Yeah, let's hope this one goes a little more smoothly and quickly than last week's. Here in Minnesota, Bob Sosi along with Phil Perry, producer Mark Capello, engineer Dennis Knutson, down on the field Tyler Knutson, and Mike Perry back from Paradise. Cut his trip to Hawaii short just so he could be here to tend to his Patriots sideline parabolic duties.
What a guy. What a professional. Love to hear that. I mean, that's the kind of thing you're looking for when you're talking about
after the virtual measurement. It is short. It will be third down.
I'm giving that a B+, Bob. That was relatively quick compared to last week. Listen, it's preseason for everybody. You work out the kinks week 1. Week 2, you bounce back. Nice job by the robots.
Phil, I hope that's the last time we ever hear that phrase. Pretty soon, there'll be robots in the booth describing the play-by-play. Third down and 1 coming up from the 12-yard line of New England. For Minnesota down 7-0.
I hope Bob's wrong about that. I thought Phil and Bob were great. Tip of the cap to Phil Perry. Did a really nice job in the booth over these last 2 games. It's the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Broadcast professional. Phil Perry, as he's been called by executive producer Jeremy Connolly. It's Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray, hanging out here on postgame. I know you asked me a question before the break. We'll get into that in a second. But what have you made of the virtual measurements?
Well, last week was too long. I miss the chain gang. Bring them back, baby. Or at least have them at the ready.
It's way too long. This was way too long today.
Is this preseason, though? Are we in the preseason mode of this?
It's not good enough. There's not enough progress. You were asking me about Mike Vrabel and the progress that's happening with the Patriots. There's not enough progress with this thing. It's got to be instantaneous. It's got to be tennis. It's got to be what you see in the minor leagues in baseball, with the ABS challenge system.
Love that, by the way.
You got to just put the thing right up on the Jumbotron. It's instantaneous. Boom, there you go.
Do you know what I want?
Why is this taking 90 seconds every time?
Can we just get like a scanner? Like a little tag? Like where you just, is it a first down? Psh, nope. All right,
like you go to Target and they scan the thing?
Yeah, like a little scan. You know when you're in the aisles and you scan something to see how much it is? Yeah, just give it a little jolt, a little scan.
Do those things still exist, like in the aisles?
You know what? I do so much to the car ordering that I'm not getting out to find out.
I remember that at Toys R Us as a kid. That was always a big deal.
You know what else, too? Is you had a ticket and you had to bring it up for a video game.
Yep.
Because, they kept them all in the back.
I know. What was the video game Bart stole? Bone something? I'm drawing a blank on that.
I don't know. I feel like Jeremy would be all over that one.
Yeah, he would. Virtual measurement, not good enough, Joe. Not fast enough. This thing's a problem. You're totally right. Bring back the chain gang.
Yep, bring them back. Just have it at the ready, will you? Scan. I like this. Just yes or no. Just go with the scan. It's like an 8-ball. Just shake it up. Boom.
With our technology, how is this system not better?
You're right. They make a lot of money. Do you know that in the NFL? The owners make a lot of money.
You might have to have a bake sale to get this system working. I don't know.
I mean, that's what the preseason games are, right? People actually spent money to go to this thing today.
Feel badly for them, don't you? Patriots season ticket holders lucked out this year with the 3.
They did.
Right, you only have to pay for one of them.
That's right. But it was Brady night, the statue.
That's worthwhile.
Yeah. So, Vrabel.
Your question again, for the folks who may have missed it.
The Patriots need a guy to give them building blocks. And it looks like Vrabel's the guy. It looks like it. Can he raise the floor? Or is the ceiling the AFC Championship game like in Tennessee, or can he go further than that?
So I think he can go further than that. He needs the quarterback to do it. He didn't have the quarterback in Tennessee. Now, you could argue maybe he was one of the reasons they didn't have the quarterback in Tennessee. How does Mike Vrabel not get Tom Brady in Tennessee to replace Ryan Tannehill?
Well, they're going with that guy. Remember that quote?
Yep. Who was that about? Tannehill? Was it about Garoppolo? We don't know. Jared Goff? Who's to say? No, I don't think there's a ceiling on that thing, which sounds like a real homer take, but I believe in Mike Vrabel. I do. The ceiling on a football team, in the end, is your quarterback. That's how it works. So if Drake May is what a lot of people think Drake May is, what you tell me he is, if Drake May is going to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, then there is no ceiling on the Mike Vrabel coaching experience. I think Vrabel's a good coach. I believe in Mike Vrabel. I think he's a competent coach. If you have a competent coach and a top 5 quarterback, there's no ceiling on that.
It's
and when I say there's no ceiling on it, you should eventually be contending for Super Bowls with that thing.
It's somewhat like a great starting pitcher and a closer. Having those two things is very good, right?
Yep.
Having the coach and the quarterback generally is what's success in football.
Do you think they have the coach and the quarterback?
This is what I mean by building blocks. I think they're perfect building blocks. I just don't know how. I think it raises the floor. I do.
Yes. They're not a 4-win team this year. They're better than that. I think they're a 7 or an 8-win team.
But I do think depth-wise, this team this year, they face there's a ceiling. Like the
talent on the roster.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a ceiling to that for sure. I'm talking big picture here.
Big picture. It feels like the money they're going to have to spend because they spent $150 million this offseason. They become desirable, and someone knows they need a number 1, or someone knows they need a pass rusher. They might want to come here.
We'll see. You feeling good? 15 seconds, Joe. You feeling good about this thing?
It was a great day, Matt, and you were excellent.
Joe, I had a blast with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you to Joe Murray for being Joe Murray, simply put. Other thank yous to hand out before we head out of here tonight to our crew in Minnesota. Producer Mark Capello, engineer Dennis Knudsen, Tyler Knudsen, and Mike Perry on the sidelines for us in Minnesota. To our folks here in Waltham, intern Luke Armpriester, studio technician Kevin Majori, the executive producer of Patriots football is Jeremy Connolly. He's Joe Murray. I'm Matt McCarthy. Final score for the final time tonight, the New England Patriots 20, the Minnesota Vikings 12. Patriots improved to 2-0 in the preseason. Preseason game number 3 on the air Thursday night, 5 o'clock, kickoff at 8. Joe Murray and Alex Barth will have you post-game Thursday night. This has been the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots post-game show. Shaw's and